No, that's okay. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, and I finished then. Okay. Yeah, Tom Prendergast, a neighbour of John Ryan here. He's living the far side of the hill. He also sent in a letter, and he's had a lot of bad experiences with the radiation. I'm sure John will fill you in on that. And Francis here behind me. Francis has been affected by a mast in Timon Park in Green Hills, which was taken down, but apparently there's planning being sought to put up another one. She may relate her stories. That is the I think most of the submission. We have some recommendations which maybe we wait to the end for the recommendations.
Well, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm trying to get 20 minutes of the presentation to move in now to have questions for the committee. Okay, so I want to begin then by Deputy John Gormley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and can I welcome the delegation, and also like to thank the committee for taking this very important item. I think you're not just victims. I think you're the forgotten victims in this case, and conveniently forgotten, because the mobile phone business is very lucrative, and so you don't fit into the equation, and anything that will queer the pitch, so to speak, for those people who are making a lot of money is put to one side. But I have a number of questions now, which I'd like to answer, because I know you have expertise, Con, in this area. Could you explain to the committee the difference between the various types of radiation? For example, we now have 3G masts being erected throughout the city. This is the latest technology. And there is such a mast, has been erected in my own constituency, RD Road. The OPW under Tom Parlin is allowing this to happen. And can you explain to us why it is that the guidelines for the department state very clearly that these masts should not be erected on schools, and yet this is being erected right beside a school? And could you confirm to me that that radiation travels laterally? In other words, it's probably worse if it's erected right beside the school. So those are the main questions. And can you, finally, just explain to the committee what are particularly the effects on children? Because if you read the Stewart report even, and a lot of these, it seems to me that what they're saying is that the effects of radiation are more profound and have a greater effect on children because they're growing. So those are the questions. I know they're probably technical questions, but I do believe as a committee we need to get down to the basic facts here of what the effects are.
I will take a group of questions and try to get down to the specifics. Okay, so I'm taking this group of 5 people altogether. I'm going to call next Deputy Podge Connolly, next Deputy Liz McManus, next Senator Fergal Brown, Dr. Jimmy Devon. So I'll ask Podge Connolly.
Well, thank you, Chair. Again, I would just like to ask the committee if there's evidence, that you have indicated that you suffer in your own homes from these microwaves. Is there evidence that other members of the family, maybe have a different tolerance level, or do these waves affect people in each home differently? I would just like you to make a comment on that. In relation to people who can't work, I think that some of the facts here this morning have been quite frightening. Like if you can't work or if you can't sleep in your home, that's certainly having a major impact on you. And has it been definitely linked to these particular waves? Is there any, or have you got to the degree where you have some scientific evidence that this is happening? I take it that there probably is evidence out there, but I would just like your comments on that. Plus the fact that Deputy Gormley here has made reference to the different types of radiation. And I want to know, that we use radiation to cure cancer. We also use it in microwaves in our homes. All these other, is there evidence that the microwave maybe in the home has any sort of similar effects on people, or even indeed the remote control for the TV? And I note as well that animals, I think there's a fair bit of evidence there that animals will not graze near where you have mass in fields. I think that's a known fact, that they will graduate away from that particular type of situation. Quite frightening to hear about the tinfoil actually curling up. If somebody can't find an explanation for that, or to say that it might actually be linked with some form of microwave. You know, it just doesn't do that in a window, and I found that kind of frightening as well. I think there are a lot of studies out there, and the authorities, as far as I can see, quite often, a lot of officialdom, if you like, seem to poo-poo the idea that there's anything wrong with any form of radiation, and I don't think that is acceptable. You know, like, I mean, people who complain about radiation are almost seen, you know, if they're okay, or maybe if they're corpus mentis, if you like, you know, that